You are listening to Julia's Trucking Cafe News Hour. Welcome to Julia's Trucking Cafe Trucking News Hour. Thank you for joining me. Like always, I have lots of news to get to, so let's get right to it. 7 signs that a trucking company you work for could be closing. So a lot of us old timers kind of know about this. We've been around the block, a day or two out here, but mainly this episode, or I shouldn't say this episode, but this segment of the episode, is for the newbie drivers out here to, there again, help with my experiences out here of what to look for if you're working for a smaller company and you have just kind of wondering, something's going on, something doesn't feel right, and what to look for. So in this article, it says hundreds of trucking companies, both large and small, have shut their doors forever in the past few years, leaving thousands of drivers looking for new jobs. Unfortunately, there's no sign that these carrier closures are slowing down anytime soon. In the past year, companies including, like we know, Celadon, Falcon Transport, HVH Transportation, and NEMF have all gone under for reasons including the loss of a major contract, increased regulatory burden, high insurance cost, or sky-high lawsuit payouts. How can you protect yourself from a sudden closure that could leave you stranded? After all, many companies try to keep the news of a shutdown a secret for as long as possible. One way is to be aware of the signs that your company is struggling. And these 7 signs are the top red flags that your company may be doing just that. Number 1, your fuel card doesn't work. One of the biggest red flags for many drivers that there is a problem with the company is difficulty when they have difficulty in fueling. I'll spit this out eventually. I'm always stumbling and stuttering. Sometimes fuel card failures can be traced to computer issues, but getting stuck at the pump could also be a warning sign that your company could be going under. A lot of times, whether, that brings the network down or maintenance or something like that is going on. But if it happens at a pretty, once or twice, I'd start wondering. Reason number 2, your paycheck doesn't cash. You can't cash it. This is often a signal, a cash flow issue that points to a deeper problem within the company. Number 3, the company makes a major executive suite change, meaning the executives upper level, they are starting to change all that around. If your company makes unexpected changes to the corporate executive officer, CEO, CFO, corporate financial officer, or other executive positions, it could be a sign that there's trouble. Celadon, for example, made numerous changes at the executive level to try to right the ship in the years before they went under. Number 4, the company cuts or freezes pay or other employee perks. Many drivers at failing companies report that their pay or other benefits were cut in the lead up to the company closure. Number 5, good drivers leave. Turnover is always high in the trucking industry, but if you notice that skilled, safe drivers within that company are now all of a sudden leaving for other opportunities, this might be a sign that things are going downhill. 6, you can't get a load. Now, I'm reporting on this during the pandemic, and I'm telling you, I see truck stops full. Trucks aren't moving. Not a lot of trucks are moving. The government has shut non-essential companies down. Only essential companies. That's a different case. That's a different story. But if everything's rolling smooth, the economy is booming, and your company can't find loads, something's going on somewhere. And last but not least, number 7, the company files for bankruptcy. Well, then you better get your butt filling out another application, because it's no matter what the company tells you or tells the workers, oh, it's just a way for them to restructure and file Chapter 11. No, they're on their way out. I'm sorry. And always make sure that you have plenty of money in your savings account, that you could afford an airline ticket, a bus ticket, rent a car, something. You at least have to save $1,000 in your savings account and get a savings account started to have money put in there so you could rent a car or get yourself, you know, I got a couple of secured credit cards, enough to be able to rent a car, pack all my crap up from the truck into a rental car and haul my butt home or to my next job or what have you. So those are some really key things to look out for in case, you know, the signs that the company you may be working for may be going under. Now, in our next story, multiple fatalities reported in a tractor-trailer crash that happened on I-40 back in February. Tennessee authorities have reported a series of multiple vehicle crashes near Jackson. The crash occurred around 6:30 in the morning on westbound I-40 at mile marker 94, just outside of Jackson, Tennessee. At least 2 semi-trucks were involved and left both the vehicles on fire. The firefighters were able to extinguish the truck fires, and westbound I-40 was opened around 11:30 in the morning. Here is, forgot to change screens, here is some of the debris, and you see the truck trailer that was on fire. And Georgia speeds up work on a truck-only lane. Georgia Department of Transportation says that they are ahead of schedule to open up the truck-only interstate lanes. The I-75, Interstate 75 commercial vehicle lane project will create 2 barrier-separated commercial vehicle-only lanes northbound along I-75 from approximately the I-475/I-75 interchange near Macon to the McDonough area, just south of Atlanta. The project will span 5 Georgia counties and will cost an estimated $1.8 billion. The 40 miles of truck-only lanes will be the first of their kind in the U.S. They will not be tolled. In other words, they will not have a toll charge. Georgia DOT says that the purpose of the project is to cut down on traffic congestion in the metro Atlanta area, caused in part by the expansion of the Port of Savannah. Officials also say that the truck-only lanes will improve safety for both truckers and passenger vehicles. Construction is expected to begin on those lanes in 2024 and last through 2028. According to the fact sheet, though, Georgia DOT has determined this project may be accelerated to open to traffic nearly 2 years earlier than they originally scheduled. And Illinois is warning truck drivers that there's a theft ring going on in one of the rest areas. Illinois Department of Transportation has issued a warning about a theft ring targeting truckers at 2 rest stop locations. From the article, we are working with Illinois State Police to combat a theft ring that has impacted the westbound 3 Rivers rest area on Interstate 80 near Minooka for an extended period. It's now impacting the eastbound rest area as well. The theft consists of opening cab doors while truckers are sleeping and stealing their wallets. At the eastbound rest area, thieves are breaking into the trailers as well. We urge truck operators to use extra caution, lock all doors, and secure their loads. We strive to keep the rest area as safe as possible and appreciate your assistance in this matter. And speaking of Celadon, they are suing a repo company for holding their equipment ransom. Now defunct trucking company Celadon Truck Group has filed suit against a tow and repossession company who they say held dozens of their pieces of their equipment for ransom. On February 6, Celadon filed suit in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware against North Carolina-based Triangle Recovery Services. The lawsuit accused Triangle Recovery Services of seizing about 50 Celadon trucks and trailers and holding them, quote, for ransom, unless Celadon paid out recovery fees. The suit alleges that Triangle Recovery Services misrepresented itself as a surrender site for Celadon equipment after the company went bankrupt and out of business. The lawsuit also accuses Triangle Recovery Services of advertising a cash reward for information leading to the recovery of abandoned Celadon equipment. After the suit was filed, the court granted Celadon a temporary restraining order and injunction against Triangle Recovery Services. On December 2nd, they filed Chapter 11, as we all know, and Celadon saying how the article is saying how they were founded in 1985, and 3,300 tractors and this kind of thing. But I think it's pretty bad when this Triangle Recovery Services are giving out cash reward for Celadon's equipment, and then turn around and saying, well, now you owe us storage fees. Not like kicking a company when they're down. It just, I don't think it's right. Now, some good news, better news. A FedEx delivery driver shows respect to a fallen flag in this video. Viewers nationwide are praising a FedEx delivery driver who was caught on security camera performing a patriotic act. The incident was caught on camera in New Jersey after a wind gust knocked over a flagpole. A FedEx driver, Chris, was delivering a package to a homeowner and stopped to pick up and fold the fallen flag as a sign of respect. This moment was caught on the homeowner's Ring doorbell camera. And they have the video in the article that you can view on the show notes at juliastruckercafe.com. You'd think after all the times that I would say all this that I would have it figured out. But, I stumble all over the place. Like I said, I'm out of my comfort zone. Now, in other news, a massive shipment of liquid meth is seized at the Mexico-U.S. border. Federal authorities say they seized more than 1,500 pounds of liquid methamphetamine at a commercial cargo facility. The drugs seizure was made on February 12th at Isleta Port of Entry in El Paso. Authorities say that the tractor-trailer entering the commercial cargo facility from Mexico was inspected. During that inspection, agents unloaded the truck's cargo of a multi-use cleaning product and determined that 32 of the bottles in that shipment actually contained liquid meth. See how they're trying to hide stuff? Like the last video did with all the people they were hiding in a dump truck bed? The drugs were, of course, seized by authorities. Quote, they said that it's a huge seizure, more than triple the 425 pounds of methamphetamine seized by officers working El Paso area for all of fiscal year of 2019. Just one seizure this year is more than all of 2019 put together. And a security guard, get this, a security guard shoots a truck driver over a parking spot. Ugh. I start to get a headache over this having to report this kind of news. A truck driver's in critical condition, if I can spit it out, after he was shot during an argument over a parking spot in Oklahoma City in February. The shooting occurred around 4:30 in the morning at the TA truck stop off of I-40 in southwest Oklahoma City. Police say that a truck driver and a security guard began arguing over a parking issue, and that the argument escalated and the guard fired one shot at the truck driver. He was taken to the local hospital and is listed in critical condition. Now let's take a short break. This episode of Julia's Trucker Cafe is brought to you by My Patriot Supply. As truck drivers, we all know what it's like to be at a shipper's or receiver's and have to wait to be loaded for hours on end. Am I right? Especially produce coolers and paper mills. That's why you need to be prepared with extra food in your truck, especially with the bad weather coming in, like it is over here in Kansas. Up in the Dakotas and Minnesota, 90 was shut down. Interstate 94 was shut down, along with 29. What are you going to do if there's no food and a truck stop was without power? That's why you need to stay prepared with My Patriot Supply. Now, it's not what you're thinking. My Patriot Supply is delicious emergency food. They have food kits that are good up to 25 years. They come in a slimline tote that you can easily store in your food pantry or under your bunk. I can speak from experience. After living through Hurricane Katrina, we were without power for 10 days, me, my mother, and son, and I. If it weren't for the MREs that were flown into us, we wouldn't have any food. There was 4 60-foot pine trees that broke in half during that storm and crossed my driveway and landlocked me in. That's when My Patriot Supply would have come in handy. If I knew then what I know now about My Patriot Supply, I definitely have some of this food stockpiled in my pantry. Now, for a limited time, you could get a 1-week supply of food in a handy and neat-looking ammo can, like you see here, for just $39. Look at all that food you get. It's a week's worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinners, just for 39 bucks. How do you get it? Where do you go, do you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Just go to my website at juliastrucketcafe.com, click on the Emergency Food Supply tab, scroll down and click on any of the images to find out more information and get yours today. They even offer gluten-free food for under $100. Winter weather is here. What would you do if the interstate was shut down, just like I was talking about? You need to get My Patriot Supply and get it today. Welcome back to Julia's Truckin' Cafe Truckin' News Hour. California carriers to cease operations at the end of this month to lay off 130 drivers. California-based trucking companies announced plans to permanently wind down operations. Rogers Trucking Company will cease operations the end of this month, April 30th. The closure will leave approximately 130 union truck drivers out of work. Company leaders cite rising insurance premiums, low rates, and an increased cost of doing business due to regulations as reasons for the closure. They also cite the fact that a major client, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, is now providing their own trucking services as a factor in the decision to close. Rogers Trucking was founded in 1972. Florida-based, there again, Howard Bear was also planned to close, as well as I reported on in the last episode. And a trucking school owner pleads guilty to bribery charges. Federal authorities say that the former owner of an Alabama truck driving school has pled guilty to charges related to paying bribes for preferential treatment for his students. February 11th, James F. Welburn pled guilty to a charge of conspiring to commit bribery in relation to federal programs, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Middle District of Alabama. Welburn is the former owner of American Truck Driving Academy, located in Lee County, Alabama. From the news release, the article, quote, Welburn paid bribes to commercial driver's license examiner in exchange for the examiner showing preferential treatment to American Truck Driving Academy students when those students took CDL driving exams. Specifically, Welburn paid the examiner $25 per student tested by the examiner. In exchange for these payments, the examiner agreed to do things like 1. Test students even though the student had not possessed a learner's permit for at least 14 days as required by federal regulations. 2. Test more than 5 students in a single day in violation of state law. And 3. Refrain from testing students on certain trucking maneuvers if the student were unlikely to be able to perform those maneuvers. This is the kind of drivers that are being put out on the road, people. When is the government going to crack down on crap like this? I mean, this is a start, but it's getting scary. I digress. Anyway, I have to put my comment in here when I think about it. Quote, in putting profit ahead of ensuring that his students could safely operate commercial vehicles, Mr. Welburn placed thousands of individuals at danger. It is my hope that as a result of this case, our roadways in Alabama and across the country will become somewhat safer places. This is only a teaspoon in the whole ocean of this crap going on. Welborn could face up to 5 years in prison in addition to fines and restitution. Agencies assisting with the investigation include the U.S. Department of Treasury, Inspector General's Office, the Georgia Department of Driver Services, Federal FMCSA, U.S. Department of Labor, Office of Inspector General, and the Alabama Law Enforcement. And a car, as it says in the article, goes Dukes of Hazzard after hitting a roundabout at high speed. Security cams, if you could see, there's a little bit of dust in there. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but wait toward the top middle part of that picture. Security cameras were rolling when a high-speed motorist went airborne after crashing into a roundabout in February 13th in Long Beach, California. This BMW is launched up about 15 feet into the air after it strikes a roundabout without appearing to slow down. Neighbors later said that the woman driving the car got out and walked away as if nothing happened. She's probably drunker than Cooter Brown. She was later identified as Marcella Ovala, 27, and was reportedly booked on suspicion of what? Driving under the influence. 4 parked cars were reportedly damaged. And there's a video at the bottom of this article that, again, like everybody knows, you can find in the show notes. And check this little guy out. This 10-year-old is showing off his shifting skills in a 1977 Western Star. A trucker in the making puts his shifting skills on display in the video at the bottom of this article. You also could find it on Brad Classic Trucks and Trains YouTube channel, and it's viewed nearly 400,000 times. And don't be getting in the way of a bull hauler because of the fact that he's not going to stop. Trucker not slowing down for protesters outside of a packing plant. If they thought they could stop him, they were wrong. And finally, Texas state troopers get to keep a semi that were seized in a drug bust. Troopers with the Texas Department of Public Safety, or DPS, have been awarded a truck and trailer that were seized by authorities following a drug charge against the truck driver. The 100th Judicial District Attorney has awarded a 2010 Peterbilt Great Dane trailer to the Texas DPS Aircraft Operations Division. The truck and trailer will reportedly be used as a mobile command center and support vehicle for the division. The semi-truck was seized by Texas DPS in March of 2018 after the truck driver was arrested on a second-degree felony marijuana possession charge. Truck driver pled guilty to the charge in the spring of 2019. Quote from the article, thanks to the combined efforts of the Texas DPS, Highway Patrol, and Criminal Investigators Division, as well as the 100th Judicial District Attorney, Luke Inman, we're able to put the support vehicle to good use. This equipment will give us the ability to better serve the citizens of Texas by responding to an emergency scene to our personnel and aircraft. This on-site command post will be crucial for communication and coordination as it is deployed to emergency scenes. So that's pretty good. I mean, it could be a mobile command center, like if they're having tornado problems or anything like that in a certain area of Texas. So they're going to outfit the trailer with, and you already have a refrigeration unit on it to keep everybody, you know, temperature controlled on the inside. So it's cool that they're putting it to really good use. And if you enjoy my show and would like to support me, the links to do so are in the description below. I would ask that you please subscribe to the channel. Pretty please. I greatly, greatly appreciate all of you who tune in to watch me make a butt out of myself or stumble on everything on all these videos. If you're new to the cafe and you'd like to check out where else you could find the podcast, this is the video version of the podcast. To grab more audience, you go to my website, JuliusTruckerCafe.com. The link is in the description below. click on the link, and there I have a separate tab of where else to find the podcast. Besides YouTube, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Facebook, Spotify, Spreaker, all sorts of different places. Please subscribe to our email list. And all of these articles that I talk about here on the channel, as well as with the podcast, I will send to you right in your inbox. This way you don't got to hunt around for them. And you can see that I'm not BSing you either. Please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Before I forget, leave a comment. You like it, thumbs up, thumbs down. What I could change differently. Hat, no hat. You notice these couple of videos I did without a hat on. Let me know what you think. You know, woman, put your hat back on, or don't put the hat on, or something like that. So, trying different things, see what's going on. I also have new things in the works all the time, new recipes. I also have a how-to channel, Julia's Truck and Cafe -how-to channel, where I have cooking videos. Teach you how to cook in your truck, especially now with this pandemic. I do a lot of Instapot stuff. My Instapot has paid for itself. Not even $100 Instapot, and I've made 4 different meals in it already. It's paid for itself. So thank you so much for listening, and until next time, see y'all later. You have been listening to Julia's Truck and Cafe Truckin' News Hour. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Take care. Have a blessed day.